This is CBS 6 News in high definition.
We begin tonight with a weather alert. A destructive storm rolls through parts of the capital region. This is what's left behind tonight. You're looking live at just some of the trouble in Duanesburg. The National Weather Service will be out there tomorrow. That's when we'll know if this was, in fact, a tornado. Mother Nature doing some serious damage around the region tonight. Good evening, I'm Greg Floyd.
And I'm Dory Marling. Cleanup efforts continue tonight after that possible tornado tears down power lines, uproots trees, and destroys homes. We have team coverage tonight in the aftermath of this destructive storm. Steve is in our weather center analyzing the latest damage information. Craig Smith and Tori Wells, they're live in a couple of the hardest hit spots. First, though, we do want to head over to our chief meteorologist, Steve LaPointe. Quite the day there, Steve, and tell us what's happening now.
All right, Dory, yeah, quite the day for sure. Let me show you the storm track on this particular supercell. One storm responsible for all the hail reports, one storm responsible for what will likely be determined to have been at least one and possibly multiple tornado touchdowns in Schenectady and maybe Albany County. This was a supercell thunderstorm originating up here across portions of southeastern Hamilton County. It became a major hail producer as it was moving through eastern Fulton County from Gloversville on east down into Amsterdam, especially, where we had reports of hail up to the size of 4 inches in diameter. That's about the size of a grapefruit. Can you imagine grapefruit-sized ice chunks falling out of the clouds? That's remarkable for any portion of the country, let alone upstate New York. Very low freezing levels in the atmosphere and a strong rotating updraft in the supercell responsible for hail of that size. The rotation really became quite strong across Schenectady County and continued into Albany County, where we're seeing all the significant damage, and that's what the National Weather Service will be concentrating on tomorrow when they send out storm damage survey teams. They will likely find that this, in fact, was a tornado touchdown. We'll have track information and we'll have intensity information from them coming up tomorrow. Here's just an example of some of the hail. Jamie posting this in my Facebook page. This is 2-inch diameter hail in Amsterdam. So again, picture ice chunks about twice the size with the reports of 3 to 4-inch diameter hail from the same storm. 2-inch diameter hail around Broad Albany. Many reports of large hail from that storm. Another shot of some of the hail around Amsterdam. So a significant hail and a possible tornado producer. It's gone now, and we're looking at much quieter conditions coming up for tomorrow in terms of severe weather. Now, it's going to rain at times. There will be some downpours and possibly some thunder. Temperatures again will be fairly cool, topping off generally in the 60s. Greg and Dory.
Those hail pictures are something. All right, thank you very much, Steve.
We keep on surveying the damage tonight. Parts of Duanesburg, some of the hardest hit. That's where one woman lost her home and almost lost her pets.
Craig Smith is live there right now. Craig, you've been there since the storms rolled through. You spoke with that woman and her son tonight. So how are they holding up?
They're actually quite positive tonight, Dory, especially considering everything that's happened. She's happy she's alive. She's happy both of her dogs survived this. And most of the people who live near where the storm crossed Route 20 lost maybe some shingles from their roof, or they lost a connection from the main power line to their own house. This woman, 69-year-old Margaret Krelowitz, lost her entire house. And she told me that's not the first time that's happened. Just after the storm blew down the house, rescuers went through the debris, searching, and into the woods across the road, looking for a woman and a child. They found only a dog, safe and sound, and reunited with the homeowner who was not home when the storm hit.
No, she was up in Sharon Springs picking up my son and wife from school.
I mean, talk about the luck.
Absolutely. Somebody must have been looking over her today, I guess.
How did she get word of what happened to her house?
My cousin called and said she heard the house got hit but wasn't sure. And then I called somebody in my fire department in Esperance, and they said they believe her house got hit.
Ms. Krelowitz told me it was her niece who called her asking if she's okay. She said, yes, why wouldn't I be? The reply, well, your house is gone. 2 large trees blocked the road. The worst was cleared within about 90 minutes, but the road was not reopened. Too many power lines knocked down. Too much work for National Grid to do first, a job that was expected to go through the night.
The sky was extremely black, and the wind was making a sound we have never, ever heard before.
Don Summers has lived here 30 years. He says he's never seen anything like it, at least around here.
You could see it coming harder, and then the hail and everything started. By the time I get in the house, hail about the size of golf balls were coming down, hitting the road, the house, the cars. Like we've heard in the Midwest and that, we ran to the bathtub.
The wheelchair is still over here. I'm going to try to get that. It's in between the trees over here.
Ms. Krelowitz told me what she wanted most was for someone to find pictures of her late husband and her granddaughter who passed away several years ago. Someone did find a photograph of her children, a photo that survived a fire 30 years ago that destroyed her house a little west of here. That was her house in Esperance 30 years ago, destroyed by fire. And she told me that she did find those photographs about an hour and a half ago. Ms. Krelowitz told me somebody found the pictures that she was hoping to find and also found all of her jewelry. Her German Shepherd is doing well, no problem there. She says she does have insurance on the house, but she's not sure that it will cover the loss. The insurance man will be here in the morning, they expect. Another interesting little sidebar story here. Ms. Krelowitz's son, Bruce Bivens, is the man who's in charge of the air traffic control tower at Griffiths Air Base, where President Obama flew in today before his visit to Cooperstown. He oversaw the arrival and departure, and he told me that right at the time he was finishing up with the departure, he got a text. He didn't see it right at that second, but at that moment is when someone notified him about what had happened here at his mother's house, a house he had lived in briefly about 5 years ago. He raced right down here. He's back there now helping everyone clean up and gather as many belongings as they can. And he told me probably the most important thing that happened here today is the survival of his mother's 2 dogs. He said that those dogs were her life. We're live in Duanesburg. Craig Smith, CBS 6 News.
All right, thank you very much, Craig. Our viewers did a great job showing us the wicked weather in their neighborhoods today, posting photos and videos on our Facebook page, emailing them into our newsroom. This is what the hail looked like in Amsterdam today, bouncing off the streets. Look at the size of that thing. Steve talked about it before. That's a huge piece of hail right there. Golf ball-sized hail covering the streets in Amsterdam. Let's take you on a little farther on into Broad Albany right now. Hail balls falling so hard, pieces of hail, they bounced right off the grass there. You can see it. I mean, it's literally bouncing off the grass in Broad Albany. Some pretty incredible video this afternoon as the storm rolled through. Now, I was in Duanesburg, not too far from where Craig was just now. I couldn't believe what I was seeing when it came to the amount of trees down. I snapped all these photos on or along Cole Road in Duanesburg. Huge trees, just uprooted. Dozens and dozens of trees in a row. Look at them right there. So many in a row, knocked down. The homeowners couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that many trees were destroyed. They were also, though, counting their blessings. There were no serious damages. When you see all that, no serious damages to their homes, at least, in that area. Dory?
Yeah, and the rain, the wind, all making it difficult to navigate the roads as well this afternoon. Check out these 2 tractor trailers that were toppled over on I-88, again near Duanesburg today. The trucks just tossed around there. They blocked traffic, caused a massive backup. And not far from there, an entire wall you see there. This is blown right off the side of the Duanesburg Volunteer Ambulance Station. Tori Wells also live in Duanesburg tonight. She's with us now. And Tori, I mean, it just strikes you. You can see right into the entire building there.
Yeah, Dory, just about an hour ago, crews were here to cover up that large hole with some covering to make sure that things do not get inside. They don't want to have any rain get inside. They want to make sure nothing blows out. You can see, though, on the ground, this big piece of wall, almost intact still, laying here. When this wasn't up covering that hole, you could see inside almost like a dollhouse. When the wind ripped through Duanesburg, it stole the wall off this garage, leaving a wide view inside the Duanesburg Volunteer Ambulance Building.
We're glad that everybody is alive and well.
There's so much damage they can't occupy the building, and 2 trucks were damaged as well. But these volunteers are still answering calls.
Right now, it's just a matter of pulling dedicated people together to respond.
First responders, some helping from nearby departments, were on I-88 for hours this afternoon when the wind blew these 2 tractor trailers over on their side. We're told the drivers will be okay. Now, the driver of this truck told me that he was on the far side of the road when this wind came along and blew the truck inside here. He says he had his brakes on, but it didn't matter. Tonight, neighbors responded to help neighbors clean up. The damage not even clear until the storm passed.
The rain was just so bad that we couldn't see anything. Now, when the rain finally stopped, the whole garage right over here was just torn apart.
At the same time, National Grid worked to restore power, and the Red Cross stopped to see what people need. This woman told us she made it to safety just in time.
Literally parked the car and got in, and the window in the house just completely bashed in.
It will take time to pick up this devastation, but those we spoke with are grateful for one another's safety.
We'll continue to operate. We're survivors.
And live back here in Duanesburg, I want to show you again, it's hard to tell in the video, but when you see this large tree and the roots that have been ripped out of the ground, taller than I am, you can just tell how strong this wind was. Now, we are told that the Duanesburg volunteers from this ambulance building right here behind me, they will be on the corner of Route 7 and 20 tomorrow from 2 to 6. We're told that they often collect coins there, but those donations, those are needed more now than ever. Tonight, we are live in Duanesburg. Tori Wells, CBS 6 News.
We certainly wish them well with their efforts. Thank you very much, Tori. Whenever severe weather hits, stay ahead of the storm with CBS 6 News, both on air here, also online at cbs6albany.com. On our website, you can find all the latest watches, warnings, the radar there as well to know exactly what's happening in your neighborhood.
Continuing coverage now, President Obama in Chicago tonight after spending this afternoon at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. The president toured the hall with Hall of Famer Andre Dawson, touting the benefits of tourism across the state of New York and the rest of America. He says getting people to visit places like the Baseball Hall of Fame translates into jobs and an economic boost. While the tiny upstate village is a popular destination, the president says more work can be done to bring more foreign tourists to America.
We're making great strides in welcoming more visitors to America in places like Cooperstown, but we can do even better. I want to turn the 70 million tourists that came last year into 100 million each year by the beginning of the next decade.
With his visit today, President Obama became the first sitting president to take a trip to the Baseball Hall of Fame. A Bethlehem High School student briefly caught the president's ear after his speech. I got to chat with him. Here's the photo that Bethlehem High sophomore James Hartunian took with the president in the Hall of Fame gallery this afternoon. It is a hands-on civics lesson that Hartunian won't soon forget.
I was a little shocked, to be honest. You know, I didn't really know what to think, and he came right up to us and he started shaking our hands. I said, "Mr. President, may I have a picture?" And we took around, and my father took the picture of us, and I think that's going to be a picture that stays in our family for a very long time.
You got something to brag about with your buddies back home.
I know. I got to send them all this and be the big shot in school, so hopefully it'll get me some good grades with my teachers.
Hartunian, who is the son of U.S. Attorney Richard Hartunian, plays JV baseball at Bethlehem High School, and he says he especially appreciated the president's use today of a Yogi Berra quote, "It's deja vu all over again." You know, I asked him, does this make you want to go into politics someday? He goes, you know what? I'd rather be in the Hall of Fame someday.
Well, it's a tough choice, but you know, it will not be deja vu for him. Once in a lifetime, that moment,
that
that
was
picture
pretty
right
cool.
there.
And the president was holding the ball that William Howard Taft threw out when he became the first U.S. president to throw out the pitch at an opening day game back in 1910. A lot of history going on today.
Exactly what I was going to say. It's a great day that they had there, it looks like. Well, we have more serious news to come here. A local school community in mourning tonight.
A deadly accident claims the life of an area student. We'll tell you how the school is trying to help his classmates deal with the loss.
Today's severe weather, of course, behind us. I'm not expecting a repeat in terms of severe weather tomorrow, but I am expecting more wet weather, so I'll be looking at that in depth after the break.
CBS 6 News with Steve LaPointe, the Weather Authority.
You know, I'm sorry. I was a couple hours ago. I had to see this storm damage. It was, you know, it was incredible. I'm still shaken by it.
In these last 2 weeks of May, I know you were saying the other day, Steve, anything goes, really, history has shown.
Well, yeah, history has shown that this is a very hot time of the year. Not that we were anticipating any kind of severe weather to this magnitude today. We had some indications this morning, certainly, that we'd have some thunderstorms and that hail would be a pretty good threat just due to the coldness of the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. But to have a supercell of this magnitude do what it apparently did today was not anticipated, and certainly very humbling to not only me, but to many of the meteorologists across this area. And we're going to learn a lot more about this storm in the days to come, and certainly see a lot more pictures tomorrow as the National Weather Service gets out there to take a look. Now, I'm not anticipating severe weather tomorrow, but I am anticipating another fairly gray and cool day, and there will be some showers and possibly a couple of thunderstorms. Wouldn't be out of the question, and if we get a stronger storm, there could once again be a little bit of hail, but it shouldn't be nearly the magnitude that we had today. And it's not going to rain all of the time either. Like today, the activity was kind of hit or miss and scattered. There were many areas that didn't get that much wet weather at all. So that'll be the case tomorrow, 67 for the high, so not particularly warm. We'll get a couple of breaks of sunshine between those showers. Now, instant Doppler 6 right now is showing some weakening showers across Greene, northern Ulster County, and weakening showers now in Fulton and portions of central and southern Herkimer County. Closer look on this cluster up in here. Had been some thunder and lightning with this, and there still could be a couple of flashes, maybe some rumbles. Arietta here, Hamilton County, it's west of Broad Alban, over to Dolgeville, and further north into Herkimer County. And this is kind of slowly moving off to the east-southeast like this, but again, the trend has been for this activity to weaken. Not to say we couldn't see a few additional showers and rumbles cropping up east of the secluded front as it slowly heads in our direction. So a shower chance certainly remaining with us overnight tonight. A couple of downpours along the front. And the whole system, again, just not moving very quickly. We've been talking about that the past couple of days. The atmosphere is kind of blocked up, so no fast eastward motion. There's definitely a twist here, though. That's upper level low pressure, and that system's going to swing across central and southwestern New York coming up tomorrow. And if we do get some breaks in the clouds, see a little bit of heating, things will become unstable, and we'll see some additional showers developing. So the map at 2 o'clock will look like this. What's left of the front that's to our west will degrade to a weak surface trough, so there'll be some convergence along that. Upper level low pressure will be spinning here near Binghamton by about 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so that will produce some instability representing some chilly air aloft. So we'll see the scattered showers tending to pop up with mostly gray skies. Won't be a lot around 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. What I expect will be just some scattered light showers at that time. They'll start to crop up through the morning and the afternoon, kind of spinning around that upper level circulation, but you can see hit or miss. It's not going to be a solid area of rain, but certainly a day you want to have the umbrella handy as we see some of these downpours and rumbles of thunder. Temperatures again generally held back. Low to mid 60s, western New England, mid to maybe a few upper 60s in the Hudson, eastern Mohawk Valley. Might get to 70 around Kingston, where there's a better bet for some sunshine. Into the Memorial Day weekend, the system's going to linger a little bit on Saturday. It'll be a brighter day, so we should see milder temperatures in the low 70s, but still some chance for scattered showers and a few afternoon thunderstorms, and even still a slight shower chance Sunday. Most of that, though, I think will be confined across western New England, the high spots in Vermont, mid 70s. Then Memorial Day itself, mostly sunny, warm, and dry, with high temperatures right up around 80 degrees. Here's your 7-day forecast. Again, looking at temperatures near 80 on Monday, upper 70s with a shower thunderstorm chance coming up on Tuesday, mid to upper 70s Wednesday, Thursdays. It looks like a front will move through pretty quickly Tuesday into Tuesday night, drying us out after that. Quick reminder about our weather app. That is a free download available for iPhone and Android devices. This app will alert you to violent weather like we had today. In fact, it triggered my phone this afternoon.
Yeah, and I predict that there will be many more downloads after today's events.
We certainly hope so.
You had it too, right?
I did, yeah, and it did pass along that alert, and certainly a good thing to have a heads up on always.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you very much, Steve.
Okay, thanks, Steve. More news ahead. A surprising sight out on the water.
What this big wall of clouds you're about to see is exactly, and where a father and son spotted this. The Shenendehowa school community is once again in mourning tonight. 18-year-old Hunter Cronin, who is a senior at Shenendehowa High School, died this morning in a one-car crash along Wood Road in Clifton Park. Investigators believe that Cronin was driving too fast to get around a curve, causing the car to overturn. Grief counselors were at the high school today to help classmates cope. Cronin now becomes the third Shenendehowa student to die in a car crash in just the last 18 months. Chris Stewart and Deanna Rivers were both killed in a crash on the Northway in December of 2012 when the car that they were riding in was hit by a drunk driver.
Well, some pretty amazing weather video to show you here right now. Take a look at this huge fog bank on Lake Michigan. A father and a son were out fishing when they took this video. You can see it looks right there like a gigantic white wall right in the middle of the water. Haven't seen that before. That is something.
Pretty neat phenomenon. I could see that again and again. Very cool.
All right, just ahead, what could be the catch of the year in Major League Baseball? That's a tease, isn't it?
I would say so. Also, what did Shenendehowa grad Brandon Cogswell do to impress Major League scouts today? Doug's going to tell you more. He's in here next with sports.
CBS 6 Sports with Doug Sherman.
Welcome back, everybody. You win a national championship, and it certainly stands to reason that the school wants to reward the head coach. And so today, that's exactly what Union has done with Rick Bennett, who led the Skating Dutchmen to their first ever NCAA title earlier this spring. Bennett has signed a 2-year contract extension that now lengthens his deal with Union through the 2021-2022 season. No financial terms were announced. In 3 years as head coach at Union, Bennett has won 72% of his games, reached 2 Frozen Fours, and has won national title. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Rangers had a chance tonight to grab a stranglehold on the Eastern Conference Finals against Montreal, and when Chris Kreider scored with 29 seconds left in regulation, forcing overtime, Madison Square Garden was rocking. However, 72 seconds into OT, the crowd went silent. The Canadiens win 3-2. New York's series lead is 2-1. Despite today's severe weather, some high school sectional games were played, like the Class B lacrosse semifinal between Burnt Hills Ballston Lake and Queensbury. No lightning, they will play lacrosse. Today's baseball sectional at the same school had to be postponed. With an eye toward the sky, Coach Adam Moore's Queensbury Spartans took a 4-1 halftime lead over the visiting Spartans. Ben Willows did his thing. The junior attacker tallied 3 goals. Senior midi Tyler Raymond scored twice, and even though Burnt Hills did close the gap, the home team held on to win. Queensbury survived 7-6 in the 2-3 semifinal. All 4 Class AA baseball quarterfinals were rained out today. All 4 will be made up tomorrow afternoon. Some games were played today. Class A, Lansingburg shut out Glens Falls. Joe Butler went the distance as BHBL defeated Troy. Class B, Spa Catholic shut out Catskill into the lights. Albany Academy ousted Schuylerville. Class B, Corinth blanked Tamarack. Fonda Fultonville did the same to Stillwater. And in Class D, Germantown knocked off Oppenheim-Ephrata St. Johnsville. University of Virginia second baseman Brandon Cogswell has been named first team All-ACC, this after making second team All-Conference as a sophomore while playing shortstop. Today, the third-ranked Cavaliers opened the ACC tournament against Maryland. Cogswell showed why the league's coaches think so highly of him. That's a line single in the 5th inning on a gorgeous day for baseball in Greensboro. Then in the 9th, a double to the gap. Cogswell 2 for 5 with a run scored. His batting average stands at .294. Word is he could go as high as the 5th round in next month's Major League draft. Nonetheless, the Terrapins won today's game 7-6, so UVA will have to play a loser's bracket game tomorrow against North Carolina. MAC tournament in Lakewood, New Jersey. Siena dropped its opener in 12 innings. Matt Gage out of Broadalbin Perth pitched 10 brilliant innings, 130 pitches. The Saints will play in an elimination game tomorrow at 3:30. And then here's the Big East tournament in Brooklyn. St. John's and its BHBL connection opened up tonight with a shutout loss to Seton Hall. Tim Stauffer is not available out of the Padres bullpen tonight. That's because he will be their starting pitcher tomorrow. The Spa Catholic grad was informed upon his arrival this afternoon at Petco Park. So Stauffer, the longest tenured Padre on the roster, will make his first Major League start in 2 years tomorrow night against the Cubs. After splitting a pair of games with the Cubs on the north side of Chicago, the Yankees opened up a 4-game set on the south side tonight. Just off the DL, Chris Sale took a perfect game into the 6th inning before allowing a hit. Sale struck out 10, including Jacoby Ellsbury 3 times. Adam Dunn's RBI single in the 8th turned out to be the winning run. The Yankees managed only 3 hits in a 3-2 loss. The Red Sox hosted the Blue Jays this afternoon at Fenway, and it got away from John Lester very quickly. The veteran left-hander served up back-to-back first-inning home runs on back-to-back pitches. Melky Cabrera's 8th of the year, followed immediately by Jose Batista's 12th. Lester allowed 7 earned runs. Toronto sweeps Boston. The Sox fall 6 games under 500. Much is made both good and bad about Yasiel Puig. The Dodgers' 23-year-old Cuban outfielder showed tonight against the Mets what all the fuss is about. That is as good a catch as you're going to see all season. That took away extra bases in spectacular fashion. But later in the game, Daniel Murphy misplayed a pop-up that had been called an infield fly rule, and Puig didn't understand the rule, and it cost his team a chance at a big inning when he was doubled up off of second base. 7th inning, Juan Lagares snapped a 3-3 tie with an RBI single, scoring Wilmer Flores. And then Eric Campbell, in his first ever big league start as an outfielder, did this out in left field, and then he would double up Puig. The Mets defeat the Dodgers. And finally, how about the hail today in Denver? Thanks to a lengthy weather delay, the Rockies were forced to go to their bullpen early. Tommy Kahnle was the guy. Unfortunately, the former Shaker Bison gave up a couple of runs, including that home run to Hunter Pence. The ERA still very, very low despite that outing.
Quite the night in baseball. Thank you very much, Doug.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Good day.
Good day.